Hey guys, welcome to Digital Code. I'm Suraj here. Today I will show you how to make a simple block application using PHP and Angular 4. So we are going to use Angular 4 for as our front-end framework. If you don't know about Angular 4 is a front-end JavaScript framework. If you know about Angular 1, then it will be a little bit helpful in learning Angular 4. Actually, Angular 4 and Angular 1 is entirely different, so it is better to learn Angular from the scratch. So in this project we will look into how to make a simple blog application. For our backend we are using PHP, and to tie up with the database we are using MySQL database here, and we will create the database and we will use APIs to communicate with the backend from the front end. So you will learn how to do that RESTful API services in PHP. If you don't know how to create a RESTful API in PHP, I have already created a tutorial on that. In that tutorial I was using Flight PHP, a little library to create endpoints very easily. So I will link that in the description, or I will link in the right side of the YouTube, so you could look in the suggested videos. So that is about the project. The project that we are going to look into a simple blog website. So you could create, edit and delete a blog, and you could assign a page to a different categories. If you're familiar with WordPress, then you could easily understand how the blog thing work. This will be very simple tutorial. I'm not going to do some advanced level tutorials in Angular 4 or PHP. This will be very quick start or jump start if you are very keen to learn how the Angular or PHP works. So for this project I'm not going to create a template from the scratch. I'm going to use an ordinary HTML blog template as a free blog template from the internet. You could download the blog website template from W3 layouts. I think W3 layouts. I will provide the link in the description, so you could download this one. This is actually fairly simple blog theme. Okay, I already downloaded this one, and this look like this. Here is the pages. Here now the content, all contents are static. Now we will type with database and populate these data dynamically in Angular 4. So this is a picture and the content and the title and the date. If you click the read more page, it will navigate to another page where you could see the full content of the particular post. Also add the functionality to leave comment, so you will learn how to do this stuff. Okay, here you could see the archives, categories, recent comments, request post. These all are static now, but we will anyway we will bind that to database and fetch and populate this dynamically. Okay, so this will be our target, and I will try to implement the search functionality also. You will get a good understanding of how these things works. As a first part, I will just create or rebuild all these templates in Angular 4. This is a static HTML page, so we will convert this to an Angular template. This will be first part, and this first part will be conversion of this static HTML into Angular. In the next part we will look into how to create a database schema, and then we will jump into how to create APIs and Angular HTTP service to communicate to the server and fetch the database, fetch the data from the database. So we will learn all that crazy stuffs in this tutorial. So this will be the page that we are going to make. So you could download this from this site, W3 layouts. Here is all other different layouts. I selected a fairly simple one, so I'm not want to make this more complex one. So let's get started. So first of all, I will use Angular Cli to quickly bootstrap our project. So Angular Cli is a command line interface that is built using Node.js. You could install Angular Cli using npm. Npm is actually Node package manager. If you have installed Node.js in your system, you could use npm to install these packages. If you not install Node.js in your system, then head over to Node.js Node.js download. From here you could download the Node.js, yeah, Windows installer, Macintosh installer. You could download whatever the packages matches your operating system. So this will be Node.js. If you install the Node.js, then if you want to check that cmd node minus version, then it will display the version of the Node.js. And if you want to check the npm version, yeah, 3.1 10.10. so this will be the npm version. So after installation we will create a directory. So I will create a directory in my local system. So my this will be my directory in which I will quickly scaffold the Angular 4 template. So you could easily scaffold Angular 4 template using Angular Cli. So I will show you how to do that. So if you look into the documentation, then you could see that first you have to install Angular Cli by using npm install -g. -g stands for globally. If you don't use -g, then it will only install in a local directory. You can access this in outside the directory. So if you want to get this command in every part of your system, you have to pass the -g flag over here. Then you can create ng new, then do your application name. So for this purpose I will select my root directory, and just I will shift and right click in the mouse. Then I will get a open command window here. Then it will take the current path here. So here I will copy this one, npm install npm ng new my dream app. I have already installed the Angular CLI, so I'm not going to install that again. So ng new, then the project name. So I will give us block. If I click enter, then it will start installing all the dependency files and other things. So using Angular CLI you could create component services from within the command prompt. So you don't need to actually create all these things manually, or you have to import that one. It will automatically created and imported. So it will be super easy. If you are considering Angular 4 seriously, you have to learn TypeScript. Actually, TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. You could use JavaScript in TypeScript. Apart from that, TypeScript comes with a lot of object-oriented programming concept. If you are coming from Java or C#, then it will be very helpful that you could structure your app in an entire different way. So that will be it. It's currently installing the packages via npm. I think it will take some time to install all these packages. So now I have successfully installed the package. So our blog project is ready to use, and it will create all these templates for us. So it will be very easy. You don't need to create each and every file individually. So it will scaffold all these things for you. So it will be make more easier for a developer. So this is the main use of Angular CLI, and next we will need a good code editor to make this work. So I am going to use VS Code for this purpose. Actually, VS Code is free, and also it's a great tool for editing code. So if you want to grab VS Code, then VS Code download. So here is the VS Code, download Visual Studio Code. It's actually from Microsoft, and the community is very active for Visual Studio Code. You could get any plugins or extensions for the Visual Studio Code. If you search for that, there is a ton of extensions available for Visual Studio. So this is Visual Studio Code. So I am going to use this code editor. So it will be open source, and also it's the IntelliSense is awesome for TypeScript and Angular 4. Okay, I have already downloaded this one, so I'm not going to download this again. I will open the my project folder from there. So src, yeah, here. So I will shift click and open command window here. Then I will type code, and dot, then it will open all this in Visual Studio Code. So if I take that, yeah, now it's open. Close. Now the project file is open in Visual Studio Code. Now you could see that. Okay, I will. Okay, this is the main project structure of Angular application. This is the part where all the magic happens inside the app folder. Here we are creating components and other services that we are going to use in the app folder, and the environment's index.html, and here is the app root. This is the main. If you are familiar with the Angular 1, then it makes sense. This is the app root, application root, and this is actually a component, application root. So we are not going to change all these things here. This is already scaffold, so this is not needed to change. Any change needed here. But now we will see how to run this project. So to run this project, we will look into Angular CLI documentation. For running this project, we will use ngserve. So if you are using ngserve, we will use ngserve. So for that, we will go to src, and we will open our command prompt. I think we have already opened our command prompt here. So we will use ng serve. Then we will look into then it will start a local server here, and we could access this by going localhost 4200. So I will copy this one. So yeah, I copy this one, and in the page I will paste this, and what happened? Okay, yeah, now our application is running here. This is a demo page that the Angular CLI just generated. Welcome app, here are some links, help you start tour of heroes. Okay, this is actually the documentation. So if you want to know more about Angular 4, you could refer the documentation here. So this is the blog page. Okay, now we will just look into how this works. Okay, so if you look into the code over here, I'll take my code. So this is the code. So here you could see the title is blog, that is dynamically created from our project name. This is the index HTML. Okay, and here you could see in the app folder, there is the main feature that I like in the Visual Studio Code is IntelliSense. If you just hover over this one, then you get a good tooltip on the warning that is showing here. Experimental support for decorators is a feature that is subject to change in future release. So we are not going to mind that thing. So it will work fine without that. Okay, here you could import all the components, and you could bind that here. So here declarations app component, you could import other packages. Here you could use providers. So providers is mainly used for injecting the services. If you want to create a data service to communicate with the APIs, then you could inject that here, providers as a service, and you could use that in different components. Okay, and the bootstrap will be the app component. If you check app component, you can see that over here. So this is app component over here. This is pretty much it, and this is the template URL, app component.html. so this is the view part of HTML, and if you want to bind its individual CSS for this particular component, then you could refer that here. That will also generated by using create component. Okay, app.component.css, and it's referred here. So these all are importing from Angular core. This is the app component.ts. Here, if you are familiar with Angular 1, we are familiar with the controllers. Actually, this is the control part over here. There is no controller in Angular 2 or 4, but there is a component section here. This is the part where it will bind HTML and the model. Okay, so in the app.component.html, you could see the HTML part that have been displayed here. If you want to change the title here, then you could open this command.ts, and you could give any title here. You could play block, and you save here. It will automatically reload the site, so you don't need to reload the browser manually. It's very convenient. So this is the basic of Angular 4. So these all files are generated by the CLI, so we don't need to configure anything. Okay, then we will look into app.modules. So this is title. So this is actually a TypeScript. The TypeScript is, if you want to create a new thing, a new variable, you could declare that here, name, and it will be Tom. And if I copy this thing, and if I take the HTML, and if I save this, yeah, you will get welcome to Tom block. So this is the basic part. So now we will delete all these things and we will convert our HTML to Angular. So let's look into how we can do that easily. We will look into the components that we are going to convert. We will separate each component of this website, so each and every component will be different. For the header, we will split into a header component. For the content page, we will split that into a content component, and for the sidebar, we will split into a sidebar component. So first of all, we will look into the HTML, and then we will split into different components. I will open this in my text editor. For the previewing purpose, I am using Notepad++. It's a great free tool, you could use them. You could see this is the index.html page, and you could see the header here, and this is the content part, and this is the side part. Okay, first of all, we will copy the header part. Okay, before that, I will create 3 components for this one. So Visual Studio Code has a integrated terminal, so we could make use of that integrated terminal. Okay, so for creating a component, you could use ng for generate, then component, then we will make a components folder over here. So app, new folder called components over here. So we will write compo nents components / then we will give header. So first component, that will be a header, so we will learn how to create that thing. Okay, so if I hit enter, then it scaffold the component for us. If you expand this component folder, then you could see a header folder, and here it will generate all the components over here. So it will be very easy. If you reload the page, you could not see anything over here because the root will be app component. So we will change this and see our component display as our main root index file. So how could we do that? It's very easy. Go to app.module.ts. Here you could see that our header component is automatically imported, so we don't need to import that manually. So here it is app component. The bootstrap will be app component, so it will always look for app component. So for now, I will change that to header component, and if you took the page, you cannot see anything because we have already changed that to our header component, because the selector is app root here. And if you go to the header component.ts, this one, header command.ts, you could see that the selector over here is app header. So if I change this to app root, because app root is already the default component that I have specified here, so the selector will be app root, and now you could see that the header works over here. So to make work all of this, we have to implement a routing system. For that, I will show you how to implement a routing system in this, so that the routing works properly. Okay, so in the component app module.ts, I will just make it to default. Now you could see the welcome to Tom block. Okay, next we will implement how you can implement the routing system in this one. First of all, I already said that we have to import the modules in order to make a particular module to work. So if you need a particular module, you could import that particular module over here. For the Angular router to be worked, we have to import the router modules. Okay, if I type import, then the IntelliSense works fine, and we have to import the router module. So router router module routes from, then you could import that from at Angular / router. Now the router module is imported from Angular router. Now we will module here. Now we will implement that over here. So to implement that here, we will create an array. So for that I will declare a constant variable over here. You could use const routes and here you can give the path as an object, path and the parameters. So it will be an component. So we could import the component over here, and that component will be injected into the body. So here we could give the component header component. So I will copy and paste over here. Okay, I saved the route here, and if I take here and if I give header, no, it's the root path, but it's not reflected in our page because we are still seeing the old Angular page, and here we have initialized the component as header component here, but it doesn't reflect it. So we will look into how to solve this issue. To solve this issue, you have to actually this is app component.html over here, right? This is app component. So we have to change that over here. Okay, first of all I will create a router outlet. Okay, the router outlet will be a dynamic dynamic content that is fetched from our component. So in app.component.html, so we will hit all these things, and we just write router hyphen outlet. Okay, if I save this thing and take this again, I will see localhost 4200. So it's not working here. We will figure out what the issues is there. So for that we will look into our app.header module, header.component.ts, header.component.ts, and if you look into this is app header. And okay, so in order to make the route works, we have to import that here. So we will take comma here, then we will router, and it will be router module dot for, this will be root, and it will be app routes that we have created over here, that the constant variable that we have created here. And if I save and look at this again, now reload, yeah, now you could see that header works over here. Now it's working fine. If I take this one and change a path to admin and save, you cannot see anything over here because our road path will be admin. In order to access that content, you have to give /admin as root path. So now you could see header works over here. Now our routing works fine. If you leave it as empty, then it will be empty. So this is how we are making routes in Angular 4. There will be advanced features coming in routes like child components and route title. You could do many things in routing. So for this basic purpose, I am not going to explain all that thing. So this is just to give you a quick start on how to do these things. So I have imported the Angular router from the core Angular module, Angular router. So here I have injected in the imports. So and here I have passed the route and the component as an array object. Next we have replaced this thing with the app component.html. If you check the app component.ts, you could see that this is app root. Okay, So and we will replace the main container to router.outer. So basically the command will be replacing the router outlet. So if a state changes, so the page not get refreshed each every time. This is the main advantage of single page application. So for here I will use header, and this header and the sidebar will be a static component. So I will be declaring those here when it's ready. Okay, this is the main structure of Angular application, and the basics of what the first step of what we are going to do. Okay, so thanks for watching. I will show you how to split all those things and make this HTML page in AngularJS. So okay, thank you for watching the tutorial. We will see you in the next tutorial.